What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at TIFF 2025. We are at the Campari Cinema Center with the team behind Train Dreams. I said this before. I was all sad that I missed your movie at Sundance, and then I finally got to see it, and I'm like, oh my, it was so worth the wait. Huge congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing you'll learn about me really quickly is I'm a big old nerd and I read press notes, so I have many quotes for all of you. The first one's a little bit of a fun question from something that I pulled from the press notes. Joel, you had mentioned that you were gifted this book by somebody you had worked with as a rap gift. So I want to know from each of you, what is the most memorable rap gift you've ever received or given? I know one of your answers from our last conversation.
Oh, well, what is it?
Well, maybe we should start with Felicity.
It was a Christmas movie mug.
Oh, yes, for Oh What Fun. Mm-hmm. With all the characters.
Oh, yes.
Seven.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I remember.
And a decoration. Christmas
Important
decoration.
pairing.
Great,
I know.
great rap gift.
On Dark
We're supposed to be
Matter,
using these, sorry.
do we use these or are they cosmetic?
Yeah, I mean, you could pick and choose.
Can I
It's
lip
okay.
sync?
I'm gonna dub us all later.
On the first season of Dark Matter, my makeup artist Mike, I sat in the chair and for about half an hour he was doing my makeup and he's like, "You didn't even notice what I'm wearing." And I looked at him and he had a T-shirt with like 30 pictures of me on it. He'd got it made as my rap gift, but he thought he'd wear it while he was doing his makeup. And I was so like, I guess I was in my phone or doing something. I didn't even notice, but I for a while had a T-shirt with 30 pictures of me on it. I don't own it anymore.
And you still have it. You definitely still have it.
Yeah, it's underneath. It's just under here.
I've got it.
Undeniably a memorable rap gift.
They're not readily available, might I say. He had to get it made.
Maybe there should be.
I actually have mine with me. One of my favorite ones is we were on one of our first days of shooting. Joel noticed that I carry around a silver dollar in my pocket, and you do as well. And so for my rap gift on this film, Joel got me a silver dollar that was minted in the same year that Robert Grainier, the character, was born. So yeah.
What a nice touch. I love that. How about for the two of you? Memorable rap gift.
Gary Ross directed this film called Pleasantville, and in it I had 3 days, night shoots, of walking in torrential rain screaming, "Where's my dinner?" And when we went to the premiere, Gary was behind me and he leaned forward and he said, "Oh, I had to trim up that scene. It wasn't in the movie." And he gave me a raincoat for a rap gift.
Showbiz.
Showbiz.
A first edition of a book, a beautiful book. Yeah, I got a nice rap gift.
What book was
First
it?
edition of a book, The Country Girls. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, I'm always looking for things to add to my reading list or my listening list. All right, again, nerd for quotes in press notes. Clint, one of my first questions here is for you, and I bring this up because it truly was one of my favorite qualities of your movie. You said it was a constant push and pull of needing to give the story a shape so that it would work as a film, but not to the point of losing that looseness and narrative freedom that the book has that's so beautiful. I guess my question is how? How do you strike that balance, which I think you do here very successfully?
Thank you very much. It is a hard thing to do. You want to, or at least I wanted to make the viewer feel like they're in good hands and we're going somewhere, while also letting the story digress and letting the narrator talk about a comet for a minute, or letting a cowboy walk into the picture and do his thing and then leave. And it really is just trial and error and going through it again and again and getting it as well as you can in the script. But then in the edit, it's a whole new process of just really going through the film over and over, showing it to people, seeing what's working, what's not. And I do that a lot and find it very valuable in the edit process of showing it to friends along the way, showing it to our collaborators. And it really is just a fine tuning along the way.
I'll follow up on that. Is there any particular note you received during those kinds of conversations that wound up being especially effective and now we can see in the finished film?
Yeah, it was that's a great question. It was interesting to find that people were looking for something in the ending that I wasn't giving them. And everybody had a different idea of what they wanted, and nobody had the specific thing, but everybody was looking for something. And that really changed. The ending that was in the script and then the ending that was in the first 14 cuts wasn't the ending that we ended up with. And that was just an aspect of really, and I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but that was really just an aspect of trying to figure out how to land something emotionally that people were looking for from the journey that they had been on.
I don't want to spoil anything either, but clearly I don't forget things. So we'll reconnect eventually, and I will ask about that. Joel, for you, this is kind of like a how question too, but again, it's something that I love. The particular quote I have here is, Robert doesn't do anything that really alters the course of history. He doesn't fight in some great battle or create some invention that changes people's lives, and yet he lives a very deep and rich life. What is the key to making sure the audience feels I guess the profundity of his experience and his life, even though he doesn't do anything that's traditionally cinematically big?
I have this belief that every single person is interesting if you spend enough time with them and you ask the right questions of them. And I think it's a mistake to discard anyone as not important to you or not worth speaking to. And I think there's something in Robert that reminds us that though we might feel insignificant, there is a significance to all of our lives. And to be confident in that particularly in Denis's hands, and how then Clint has taken the reins to show this ordinary man's life. Within ordinary life is extraordinary things.
So it's so refreshing to see something like that, which we don't very often. Felicity, I'll loop you in for a question for both of you right now. This one does not have a quote, but the movie feels to me like it basically lives or dies based on your established chemistry at the beginning of the movie. Can you each tell me the first thing you saw in the other that made you know to your core, that right there is the Robert to my Gladys, and vice versa?
We've had a long history of sort of dancing around the idea of working together. I first saw Felicity in a piece of theatre and then had a conversation with her, I feel like it was 20 years ago or 15 years ago, like early 2010s. But I remember having that exact conversation with Clint, that the relationship between Robert and Gladys is the furnace of the movie, and I think that conversations with Felicity early on, and also the kind of extra dimension that she brought to the conversations around the script and her position, and not to speak for her about her character, but definitely about the isolation aspect of it, and therefore the longing for each other, and I think we were the right people together. There's something that I see in Felicity that feels timeless, which I think is important for the film, but beautiful and also incredibly independent and strong.
Yeah, I think I remember Joel's performance in Loving, and had been totally struck by that. And there'd always, as Joel said, there'd always been this, there was other films that had come up where we were potentially going to work together, and then obviously Train Dreams, it was the perfect opportunity. And I think with Gladys and Grainier, it had to feel as though there was something really elemental and almost mythic about their connection and that relationship, because that relationship almost has to represent love. It has to be universal. It's and as you say, once that's in place, then hopefully the audience is locked in, and they're rooting for their survival, and for the survival of their love.
I love hearing an answer like that, knowing I felt it as you explained it while I was watching the movie. Something else. William, I'm coming your way now. Again, with something you said in the press notes, but not a long quote, I swear. You mentioned that when a scene was over, Clint would say, keep going. And that wasn't something that you were super used to. So can you give me an example of a time when he said, keep going? And I don't know, like unexpected magic came up on the spot and maybe we could see it in the finished film.
Not a lot of it made it into the film, I noticed. Even though I thought,
Raincoat's in the mail.
yeah.
No, I skinned a goat. Did that make it into the movie? Nope.
It was fun to do. I came down to get dinner at your tent, and we went on and on for another 5 minutes about what was in the stew. I was listening to a guy cut a log, and I said, that axe is dull. I can tell by the sound of it. I thought that should have made it in.
The hard part is when you have so much good stuff, you can't put all the good stuff in a film.
Oh,
That's the hard part.
Well, also the good stuff that gets cut out winds up informing a scene that you shoot later, even if you're not fully aware of it. So I do think there's great value.
We had a brilliant script. It didn't need our ad libs. I got to say, he was right.
Brilliant script, but a collaboration.
One thing that he did do is he wrote the song that he sings in the film. That's very resonant.
I like highlighting that.
Yeah. And that's something that like, it was just, he was going to hum a tune in the script and he said, I've got this thing, maybe it works. And it was perfect.
Do you remember the spark that ignited that idea? What made you think to yourself, like, no, I have to switch gears and write a song here?
I think it was scripted that he sings.
Yes.
So there wasn't a tune, and I suggested a tune, and I happened to have a harmonica with me, and we put that in too. I always have a harmonica and a ukulele with me.
I like that. Do you have one with you now?
Yes.
I wish.
At the end of the interview.
Kerry, I love your character. I said this to someone before, I don't remember who. I feel like I want a whole movie just about her day to day. I just love her warmth and her understanding and her kindness. And I guess this is kind of like a how question also, but I find that when someone is like that, you run the risk of being so kind, warm, open, and understanding that it can come across as, I guess, disingenuous. And that is the exact opposite of what I feel through your performance. So how do you convey that in a way that's her truth?
Well, one of the things I liked initially was that it said in the script that she felt like an old friend to him. And me and Joel have known each other for a really, really long time. And so I immediately was like, oh my God, this would be great because we kind of do know each other already. And then honestly, the only thing was listening to Clint, like he was saying, she doesn't judge him. She never judges him. And I really just followed direction to kind of walk that fine line because it's really about his character, really. And I knew my purpose in the story was really to kind of facilitate this moment for his character.
So beautiful. I'm not going to spoil anything. You two have one scene towards the end of the film that I have not stopped thinking about since I saw it. I got to start winding down with you, so I'm going to shift my focus to a couple of upcoming projects that I picked out. I'll stick with you, Kerry, for a moment, just because I was reading about pressure. I love Brendan Fraser so much. He's here with Rental Family, so he's on the brain too. And when I started to do the research, like Kay seems like such a fascinating person, and perhaps the type of person that we don't often see on screen in war movies. So can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you in terms of what she did and what you're most excited to share about her with the world?
I suppose it's another, one of my fortes, woman in a man's world kind of thing. And so I suppose there's that, she was like his right-hand woman at wartime or whatever. Honest to God, the only thing I kind of remember at the moment is the wig, how long the wig took every morning. That's really, I'll have to re-look at that, the notes of all of that, because I filmed it it seems like a long time ago. But yeah, around D-Day, and so it was, she's just amongst all these soldiers and helping her. That sounds ridiculous, helping. Do you know what I mean? She was like his right-hand man, Eisenhower's right-hand man, who's Brendan's character.
That's another type of person that feels like maybe she deserves her own movie. Like with her journey and where she started and then how she winds up in the situation she's in that particular point in time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I like trying speaking things I want into existence.
Did you?
Did I what?
Well, the rumor is you guys had an affair.
But that would be spoiling all of it, wouldn't
That's what
it,
he's talking
though?
about.
And we never know. We
Just
weren't behind
whisper.
closed doors.
Just whisper, yes.
Sure, I don't know.
William, I got one for you. I got to hear a little bit about Running Man. I love Stephen King so much. We're having quite the Bachman year right now. I love Long Walk and cannot wait to see this movie now. I'm so curious what it was like working on a Running Man movie directed by Edgar Wright, because his style is just so incredibly specific. So can you tease anything about working with him on that story that will make this version of it so uniquely his?
I really can't. We shot it in London. I was so jet lagged, I didn't know my name. And he shot a fair amount, but didn't overshoot it. I remember the set was so dark, I couldn't find my way out of it. It went fast. I don't know. You're talking to actors, man. This is out of our heads.
I'll take
in
it.
minutes.
I'll take it. I'm so excited for that. I love
Craft services. No.
That's an important part of the process. I have one more order of business before I got to let you all go. So during these interviews, we are passing notes. Think like passing notes like back in school and stuff, but we're passing them from film to film. So I have a note for all of you from the film that just came in, which is another Netflix movie, Left-Handed Girl. And they wrote to you, someone has to do this. Is anyone here left-handed?
What does it say, though?
It says write with your left hand.
The person who wrote with her toes. I can't read that.
I need a right-handed person to write something on this card with their left hand.
I can't.
Jill's got us.
Anything you want.
Cool.
Amazing. I appreciate you.
Funnily enough, better than my right hand.
I appreciate you playing our game, and I appreciate you coming in and sharing
Thank
some of your
you.
experience making train dreams with us.
It's well
Huge
done.
congratulations on the movie.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.